Well, folks, the elections are behind us, and gun owners here in Missouri sent a heck of a message on election night. But what's next in our fight to keep and bear arms here in Missouri? Hi, guys. Aaron Dorr here with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. By any measure, the elections this year here in Missouri were fantastic for gun owners. Trudy Busch Valentine tried to buy her way in the Senate. She was crushed on election night by gun owners. The same thing happened in down ballot races all across the state. And when combined with our primary election victories, it was a great year for gun voters all across Missouri. So now as we approach next session, a lot of you are asking us, what's next? What are we going to do next to expand our gun rights even further? Well, folks, MOFC has three primary objectives as we approach 2023. Number one, perhaps most obvious of all, we must defend SAPA. We are already seeing bills filed here in Jeff City, pre-filing to repeal some or all of Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act. Let's be clear on this. If they remove any element of SAPA law, if they remove the teeth in particular, we lose this incredible weapon that we have against federal gun control here in Missouri. And more than that, all the rest of Red America who is trying to emulate what we have done here in Missouri, they're all going to also see their hopes dashed as well. We must make sure that the RINOs in Jeff City, all of them, know what happens to their careers if they touch the Second Amendment Preservation Act. That's goal number one. But goal number two is to deal with the growing threat of red flag gun seizures. You guys remember this? Last summer, Joe Biden passed a massive federal gun control bill. Of course, Roy Blunt voted with it and helped make it possible. And the heart and soul of Biden's gun control bill from last summer was a $750 million appropriation that he and the DOJ can use to straight up bribe the states that pass red flag gun seizures. And so if Missouri were to pass a red flag law, it could come with a paycheck, free money from Joe Biden of $10 million, $30 million, $50 million. We have no idea how much dollars because the DOJ simply won't say. Their goal is very simple. They want to get a red state, maybe ours or any place else, to pass a red flag law. And if any red state takes the bait, they're going to use that to browbeat red states all across the country. And so I don't think this very moment that a red flag bill would move very quickly in Jeff City. But on the heels of a mass shooting, and on the heels of the DOJ waving a check for $50 million in the face of our RINOs in this state capitol with this new leadership team, anything is possible. So we could take it easy, sit back, wait and see what happens, and then deal with that bill at that time. But instead, our goal in the bill we're having filed in both chambers right now would ban red flag laws altogether here in Missouri. Guys, we shouldn't wait for this threat. We should go on the attack. That's what our bill does. So our bill makes it a crime for any entity of the government here in Missouri, state government or local government, to enforce a federal red flag gun seizure law. If they do, they're going to be facing civil charges in court. This is straight up SAPA 2.0. And more than that, the bill would go on to ban the use or the reception of any federal money to aid in the enforcement of a red flag gun seizure law. So, folks, if anyone tries to enforce a red flag law against you, this bill would allow you to haul them into civil court for damages, just like we did with last year's SAPA law. That's goal number two. And I will say this, one other state has banned the use of red flag laws. Folks, it's not near enough. Missouri must be the second. That's going to be our second objective as we approach next session. And finally, number three, we must do something to enhance and expand the protections that we enjoy here in Missouri with our current stand your ground law. Everyone knows what happened to Mark McCloskey. And many of you said, how is that possible? We have a stand your ground law. How did that commie, Soros-funded nut job almost ruin him and his wife's life over the last 2 years? Well, the solution or the answer to that question is because, well, Missouri has stand your ground law. It's a little bit of a backwards version because the presumption is that you're guilty. The presumption is that you broke the law anytime you used your firearm. And because you're presumed guilty, you and I have to prove our innocence in court. But this is America, and the idea that we're innocent until proven guilty, it's taught to us in first grade. And we have those rights as Americans and as Missourians, except when it comes to a self-defense situation. In dozens of other states, they have enhanced their stand your ground law. In these states, it's red states and blue states, gun owners are presumed innocent following a use of force situation. In fact, you can't even be arrested in these states unless the government has probable cause that you actually broke the law. That's what our bill would do. Number one, you could not be arrested unless there was probable cause that a crime was committed. Number two, the presumption is that you are innocent. You are presumed innocent until a jury of your peers finds you guilty in a court of law. And finally, we are adding in here language that gives you a process where you can assert these protections. You see, in Missouri right now, effectively, our current stand your ground law can only really be used by you after you're convicted and your appeal. That's backwards. You should have the right, and our bill would make sure that's in the law, to assert these protections up front in a pre-trial hearing. That's the whole point. If your situation was obviously a case of self-defense, like Mark McCloskey, then your lawyer should have the option to walk in that courtroom before you go through an 18-month-long hell-on-earth criminal trial and tell a judge, Your Honor, my client admits it. He stipulates he shot this individual. Here's the reason why. We are asserting stand your ground law, and we believe our actions were totally lawful. And as a result, we want this case to be dismissed. If the judge agrees, that's it. Your case is dropped. You're done. You're a free man before you go through the hell on earth of a nasty criminal and follow-on civil proceeding. So, guys, if we put these two laws into effect and defend SEPA, Missouri's going to go from having some of the best gun laws in America to the absolute best gun laws in the country, banning red flag laws, enhancing stand your ground law, and keeping SEPA intact. Those are our three primary objectives next year. But guys, as always, this only works if you guys fight alongside of us. We don't have a George Soros, thank God, or another commie like Bloomberg funding our operation. We are funded, as always, exclusively by gun owners like you all across Missouri who know that if we lose our freedoms, we're never going to get them back. So, guys, if you haven't yet done so, renew your membership right away in the Missouri Firearms Coalition. We have major fights coming up next year. We have done so much together over the last couple of years, passing constitutional carry, expanding castle doctrine laws, passing SEPA. Guys, there's much more to do. Get involved in this fight. Renew your support today. Hit the link below. Share our video, and guys, we'll keep you informed. Take care.